Hello, friends, and welcome to episode number 58 of a Disney Life podcast. We're so happy that you're joining us this morning to chat about all things Disney in what will hopefully be, as usual, one of my favorite episodes of the year. Because today is Christmas in July Day, and very few things get me excited about Disney trip planning as talking about the holidays at Walt Disney World. So we're excited you decided to join us for today's episode. My name is Missy, and I am joined by my friend and co host, Rachel. Hi, Rachel. How are you today?
I'm fine, and I just noticed that you're wearing red, a Christmas color,
I
and
am.
I d I didn't even think about it. Now I'm thinking about it, and, I didn't get the Christmas memo.
Sorry. So,
Oh,
this,
well.
what, since you mentioned it, I wasn't going to say, but that's why I was a little bit late hopping into the studio this morning because I had blue on and I thought, this can't do. Last year for our recording, I wore some holiday mouse ears because they're plentiful. In my attic. I did not go up to my attic this morning. It's so hot up there. I just couldn't brave it to grab the mouse ears. And I did not plan ahead enough for this July episode to do that. But just know my mouse ears are there in spirit because that's the one time of year that I could actually bear to wear my mouse ears. Other times I just get hot. I'm not used to having anything on my head. Like I'm one of those people that always thinks I want to buy a hat. My husband was laughing at me when we were on our Jersey Shore vacation recently because I bought a hat. And he's like, "You're never going to wear that." I'm like, "I know, but I could put it in the pile in the box with all my other hats that
Yeah.
maybe someday I'll wear." My hair is a little thick. I don't know if that makes a difference. I just don't know how people who wear hats all the time can stand it. And it's the same with mouse ears for me. But at the holidays, it's typically cool enough in Orlando that I can tolerate wearing the mouse ears. So I have quite a few of those. Plus, a couple
Yeah.
years ago, they were on a huge sale after, and I had a friend pick me up. They were like 80% off or something
Oh,
stupid like
wow.
that. I think they were, honestly, I think it was 75 plus there was a 10% annual pass discount. So I basically didn't pay for several pairs of mouse ears. So that's why I
Yeah.
have so many and I break them out for the holidays. But alas, not this morning. So you can just virtually imagine them if you're tuning in on YouTube. If not, you don't know. And I can just tell you that I'm wearing gorgeous sparkly mouse ears and they're red, and you won't know that I'm
Yeah,
not.
I love 'em. I absolutely love them.
But yeah, so Christmas in July today. I'm excited to get right into it. I don't currently have a Disney World trip planned for this December, but every year I say it can't happen. And then every year I seem to make it happen. I think last year was only 3 days we managed to sneak down there for, but we always try to. So thank you all for being with us today. And we will go ahead and get right into Christmas in July. All right, getting right into Christmas in July here today. I don't know about you, Rachel, but for me, when I think of Disney World and Christmas, even before I had ever been there at Christmas time, to me, the quintessential thing that people think of when they think of Disney World at the holidays is the Magic Kingdom and the castle. Unfortunately, no longer the Dream Lights, but still beautiful nonetheless, but not as beautiful. I will note that. I am in support of Dream Lights returning, although I know they likely never will. We'll just put that in there. So let's go ahead and start with the Magic Kingdom and the things that are offered at the Magic Kingdom during the holidays. There are things during the day, but I think the biggest thing of all that most Disney guests know about is their ticketed party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Yes, and this will run from select nights. It begins November the 8th, so there will be a very fast turnaround from Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party to the Very Merry Christmas Party. And if you're able to take a long extended vacation, you could technically hit both. So I think that's a fantastic way to celebrate the holiday season. And then it runs until Tuesday, December 22nd. So Walt Disney World does not run the Christmas party up until the day of Christmas. And I think that's probably pretty strategic. If you are not aware, Christmas time at Walt Disney World is much more crowded than you think that it would be. The busiest week of the year is the week between Christmas and New Year's because people are out of school, they're out of work, and where else would you want to go and spend holiday money other than Walt Disney World?
You know, I'm surprised, honestly, that they don't offer these parties those nights because they would all sell out. People would pay
Yeah.
for it and they would buy tickets for the daytime at the park. And then they would buy the park ticket for the evening for this party. And they would basically sell tickets a day to most people. So I'm grateful that they don't do that at this point. I'm kind of surprised from a financial standpoint that they don't. Maybe because a lot of it is centered around Santa, and obviously after Christmas, he's back in the North Pole, so he won't be there for the parade and some other things that meet and I guess he's not at a meet and greet there, is he? I don't think he is. It's Santa Goofy, I think, is
Yeah.
there. So the actual Santa is not there, but,
Yeah.
he makes appearances in the parade, and
Mhm.
obviously after Christmas, he is off duty and back at the North Pole, so that could be why, but other than that, I'm at a loss for why they don't sell
Yeah.
Christmas party tickets and have Christmas parties between Christmas and New Year's because they'd make a ton of money on it.
They would,
But as
absolutely. And there are 24 party dates, which is a lot for a month and a half run party. As opposed to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, you do have a lot of dates, but it begins in August, which a lot of people have issue with that because it's still really hot in August and it's really hard to get into the fall kind of attitude as at that early in the year. But you do have August, September, and October to spread party nights
the
through. This
party's
one you
out. Mhm.
this one you'll have 2 or month and a half really. So you have parties just about every other night and sometimes back to back. So if you are going to Walt Disney World during this time period and you are not planning on going to a party, you do need to plan accordingly with your park schedules, especially if you want to see fireworks at the Magic Kingdom.
Fireworks, and when you're planning ahead and making your dining reservations, be aware what the park hours are and that the park will be closing to day guests early on those party nights. At 6 p.m., you'll need to be out on Christmas party nights for the Magic Kingdom. They do allow you, if you have a party ticket, to enter starting at 4 p.m. That's been the policy for many years now, and it's the written policy again this year, even though the party doesn't officially kick off until 7 p.m. And then things wind up at midnight there in the Magic Kingdom. So, Rachel, when we're finished chatting here today, I'm going to go back and count because I thought there were 25 parties and you said
I
24. So
well,
you,
hold on. I've
it
got
could
the
be
dates.
close. It doesn't make a big difference, but just for the sake of being accurate, I'm curious. Did I count that wrong, or uh, is your info a little inaccurate?
No, I
Nonetheless, it's a
counted it
lot of.
wrong. I counted it
Okay,
wrong. It is 25, which makes sense because of December 25th. It is 25. So my apologies on that. There will be 25 dates this year. Over a month and a half. That is not a
that's
long time
that's
at
a
all.
That's a lot of party days
Yeah.
included in a short amount of time. So, yeah, definitely check before you travel down there to make sure you're not messing anything up with your dining reservations as far as party nights are concerned. So,
Yes.
and they do still take dining reservations for restaurants. It could be a good use of time if you're there during that very busy time between 4 and 6 when day guests will still be there and party guests can enter. That's going to be some of the busiest time part of the busiest time of the day. It might not be a terrible idea to get in there and then have a dining reservation during
Mhm.
that time. And then that way, you're in the park to get going as soon as things slow down a bit and the party officially starts, but you're not standing in the lines. You're enjoying a meal there. So
Yeah.
if you want to eat at a table service restaurant that day, that would be my recommendation for a time frame to do it. You don't want to wait until the party has started and then spend some of your party time dining at a restaurant that you could dine at any other time of the day.
I completely agree. And don't forget, too, that these party tickets count as your park tickets. You don't need to have another park ticket to enter in as early as 4 o'clock. So you could get a full 8-hour day in the Magic Kingdom with
Wow.
just the party ticket. And I think that's a great use of time. And the way that ticket prices have gone up in the last couple of years, you're not paying too much of a difference between a 1 day ticket and a party ticket
And a
at this
party
point.
ticket. It's true. And there is a lot going on during the party itself. We have Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade, which has been the parade for many, many years now, is an adorable parade. I cannot read or say the name of the parade without automatically starting to sing the song in my head. So it's a very catchy tune and get you into holiday spirit. They also have Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration, which is over at Stage Castle. They say it's a Yuletide stage show over at Cinderella Castle, starring Mickey Mouse. So that's fun. And we have Mickey's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks there, and then some dessert parties that are options to go along with that also. So they'll upsell you on your upsell there, and they will do it well. So,
Yes, they absolutely will, and they'll also have dance parties throughout the park, and
mhm.
there's a few locations that they typically have those. And also
Some
a
with
Frozen.
characters, different
Yes.
character experiences there. Sometimes you have characters at the dance parties, and then they also have different character meet and greets where they'll be in their special Christmas time attire. So that's fun too.
Yes, and they do make note of a holiday-themed makeover, so attractions will be open during
Mhm.
these parties. If you're not aware of that, this is a fantastic time to be able to enjoy several attractions with a minimum wait time, but there will be a holiday themed makeover on Space Mountain. Now, it's been a while since I've been to a Christmas party. I don't know if there's anything interior that they do or they just do kind of a projection on the outside. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, wow. I have not been on Space Mountain during a Christmas party in ages. I can't imagine there's a whole lot they can do
Yeah.
because it's black in there. Like, what do they do? Make it red and green? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
don't know. To put some holiday music on. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor does actually have a holiday overlay.
Yes. And I
Yeah,
have done that
which is
in the
super cute.
recent
Yes,
years.
yeah, I
Yes.
have done that too, but that's fun, and again, we've talked about that's one of our hidden gems anyways, how much we love visiting
Hmm.
that attraction. Tomorrowland Speedway has some giant ornament type displays out, as you're driving along, and then Jungle Cruise will be the Jingle Cruise during this time of the year, and I enjoy riding the Jungle Cruise at night whenever you have the opportunity to as well. It just really changes how the attraction feels, so but Jingle Cruise, I love Jingle Cruise too. I think they do a fantastic job with the overlay, and kudos to the cast members who very quickly learn and change their script to match the holiday season.
Yes. It's a lot of fun. It's neat to have something that's a little bit different, a little more festive and get you in that spirit. Sometimes it could even be festive enough that I'll want to wear my Santa mini hat and not sweat. But not usually. Usually, I have
Yeah, yeah,
great
really, not usually.
expectations of being able to be nice and chill and having the complimentary snacks like the cookies and the hot cocoa, and then you get your hot cocoa, and it's like, "I'm so hot." What like, who
Yeah,
planned this? This is terrible. Like, give me bottled water, please.
yeah. Well, speaking of hot cocoa, so you can also book a dessert party during Minnie's wonderful Christmas time fireworks
Mhm.
too. So if you are interested in the fireworks dessert parties, that is something that it will still be going on during the holiday season. Reservations are not open for those yet, but also not 60 days out from the beginning of these parties. So more details are still to come on those. But that is another way that you can enjoy the holiday season with a fireworks dessert party.
Mhm. Very exciting. I think that pretty much covers everything at the Magic Kingdom itself that
Yes.
we would need to talk about for alright, so where do you wanna hop over to next, Rachel?
Well, let's head over to Hollywood Studios and talk about the other big party that will be taking place during this time. This is
Okay.
Jollywood Nights.
Uh-huh.
We have mentioned Mickey and Minnie's outfits for Jollywood Nights before. And you know what?
Yeah.
I did not text you this. I was going to, but so when we filmed a couple of weeks ago and the announcement was made of the Jollywood Nights outfits, Missy and I were both less than impressed of the with Mickey and Minnie's new outfits. This was released back in May. There was a teaser promo of Jollywood
Okay.
Nights with Mickey and Minnie, and it had them in their new outfits, and I didn't realize it at the time. I don't know that anybody did, but I saw them
Probably
all.
because nobody thought their pastels were for Christmas and they
Yes,
thought it was for something else.
yes. But I was looking through a Page's social media site to see if I could find a schedule of some events that this social media page has, and I happened to see an announcement that they made back in May about Jollywood Nights returning, and it had Mickey and Minnie in these costumes. So
Well,
Disney
that
gave
is
us a little bit of a
unfortunate.
teaser. Yeah, we had time to protest, I guess, and we did it. All right, so Jollywood Nights
Well,
will
that's
be.
one great thing about Disney. They'll change it again next year. So,
That's
and who knows,
true.
maybe people will love it. In person, sometimes it looks a little bit different than it does in photographs. So, we'll
Yes.
see. We'll
Oh,
give it
well,
a
okay.
try. We're always willing to give it a try.
Yes, absolutely, and so, okay, this is a side note, but we already said that we're gonna have side notes on this. Have
Yeah.
you seen that at Disneyland on Pirates, they've already changed the pirate back? That was the animatronic that they replaced with this skeleton. I saw a post that they've already changed it back to the skeleton.
Well, I will be checking on that, Rachel, this
Yeah,
week because I
yeah.
leave tonight to head out to Anaheim. So I had not heard that, but my kids were a little bit raging about it when they saw some videos online recently when it first reopened. And, why did they do that? So
Yes, yeah,
we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see. I hadn't heard that, but
Yeah,
interesting.
so let
Okay.
us know if it has changed back to the skeleton. Alright, so back to Christmas time and Jollywood Nights. Alright, so Jollywood Nights begins on Saturday, not September, Saturday, November the 7th, so this will be one night before Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party begins,
Hmm.
and this party actually heads into January. This party will run until Tuesday, January the 5th. Now, party dates will not run on December 24th or December 25th. And in fact, there will be no parties between December 23rd and January 3rd. So that week between Christmas and New Year's will have no parties if you were planning on visiting. But again, that's the busiest week at Walt Disney World. So it makes sense. They don't want to close off sections of a park when they're going to have to disperse so many people.
Mhm.
At least that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, we could assume that's why they
Yes.
do it, and we're grateful if that is the reason why, who knows? I believe there are 15 total parties, though, for Jollywood, and, the timing is a little bit different there than it is at the Magic Kingdom. You can enter at 5:30 PM. The party starts at 7:30 and ends at 12:30, so a little bit different than Magic Kingdom, but you still get in there early with that party ticket and not needing that nighttime ticket, so that's exciting. So maybe because it runs into January, maybe that's why they were going with a little bit more of a brighter color glitz and glamour type outfit than the
You're
Christmassy
being kind
colors.
and generous.
I'm
No,
stretching
I
it. I'm
don't
just
know.
trying to think like them. I don't know. I feel like, so listen, there always ends up being a reason for the things that they do. Like these Imagineers are, I would think, foremost Disney fans themselves. You don't become an Imagineer and not love Disney also. So I try to give them the benefit of the doubt always because maybe they're on to something or maybe it's
Maybe.
a terrible idea. So I don't know. We'll see. Not every idea can be great, so we'll see. Okay, so tickets for those parties go on sale the same day. So resort guests actually had a bit of an advantage on this one with tickets going on sale a week early. July 9th, they went on sale for guests staying at Walt Disney World Resort hotels. And then July 16th, they'll open up for the general public. So anybody not staying on Disney property can purchase their tickets on July 16th. Keep in mind with these tickets, they are non refundable. So if you purchase them, you need to be sure you're going to be there on those dates. Now, of course, there are some exceptions when there's horrendous weather. We have seen a handful of times that Disney will give some refunds. You know, if your party is seriously a washout, Disney will make things right. But if you don't feel like going that day or if somebody becomes ill, you may not have as good of luck getting a ticket refunded. So please be aware that the policy is these are non refundable and non transferable. That being said, don't wait too long to purchase them. As soon as you know you want them and you plan to go, you better go ahead and get them because there are days that sell out. And these tickets also have the option for annual pass holders and Disney Vacation Club members to get a discount on them. They can purchase them through their account and get a discount. So
Yeah.
I think that about wraps it up concerning the ticket part of those parties.
Yes. One thing that I do want to mention, so these tickets are non-refundable and non-transferable. However, as you said, if something happens and you can't go to the party, you do still obtain that ticket value in your account and you could apply that the purchase of a party ticket to the purchase of a future party ticket. So, make sure that you keep all your confirmation numbers and everything. Disney can help look up that information, but it's so much easier when you have that confirmation number to say, "Hey, I already purchased this ticket, we couldn't go." And they'll say, "Yeah, we see that it wasn't used," and we can apply that amount to a new ticket.
To another ticket,
Yeah.
basically like a ticket upgrade or something
Yes,
like
but it's
that.
not a park ticket. You can apply it to like a 4-day park ticket. It has to be a special event ticket.
Right. And of course, we know those are not typically announced far ahead of time. You may not
Right.
have time on your trip or you may be out of party dates in order to be able to use it that current year. So you should be planning on using it if you purchase the ticket. This isn't the
Right.
kind of thing that you book maybe just in case. I know there are people out there who will book excessive dining reservations because they aren't sure which park they're going to be in or that type of thing. You can't do that with party tickets. The money is due upfront and the policy is that it's non-refundable. Okay, Rachel, so let's talk a little bit more about what actually happens at Jollywood Nights. You want to go ahead and go through that with us?
Of course. So, one of the big things is Disney Holidays in Hollywood. So, it's a musical stage show held at the Theater of the Stars with Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy hosting. And there will be special appearances from Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and some princesses there as well. Another big thing is What's This? Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas sing along. I think this party is probably more geared towards adults in general. And
Mhm.
the adults that go there are definitely of the generation that grew up with The Nightmare Before Christmas.
That
And
is
so,
the exact target audience, I think.
yes.
People who grew up watching that and it has evolved with them and
Mhm.
remained a holiday favorite. So that's a pretty ideal selection, I think, there.
Yes. There's also a skating show. This is called Glisten, and this takes place in front of the Chinese theater. with some skaters dancing around to some Jollywood songs, holiday tunes, and original Jollywood songs. And then one of the big things I think would probably what would interest me more at this party is the Twilight Soiree at the Tip Top Club, which is over by the Hollywood Tower Hotel. So this is a 1930s style live music swinging celebration that I just think looks so, I don't know. I don't want to say fun because it's not that kind of atmosphere, but
It's nostalgic, I think. It
yeah.
kind of puts you back in a time where you kind of wish you could be. I mean, not really, because there are too many technological advances that have been made for me to have actually
Right.
wanted to live back then. Like, we've come too far overall for that. But I sometimes kind of wonder, and I love watching older movies of what things were like back in the day. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you do want to liven up your party, you can go to the Pixar Disco over at Pixar Plaza, where Edna Mode and Frozone will be hosting a dance party with I'm guessing some of your other favorite Pixar stars that are featured at Hollywood Studios too.
Very, very different than the club that you.
A little bit, yeah. You can also head over to the Hollywood Brown Derby for an adult-oriented kind of culinary treat and live music also, but it is specified that this is an adult-only event at Jollywood Nights. And then you do have Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, which is kind of a staple at Hollywood Studios during this time of the year, and it is starring the elves from Prep and Landing, Wayne and Lanny. So I know that your kids enjoyed Prep and Landing. That was a holiday staple for you guys for a while.
It was. So, the prep and landing specials came out when my kids were pretty young and they were the ideal age. We absolutely love them. I'm kind of surprised that they're still around because I didn't realize more people than us loved it. So, every year when they announce that they'll be back, I'm just thrilled that they're maintaining it and keeping them there through the years because they really are adorable shows. And I feel like we need a little bit more of that out there.
Well, my kids discovered it last holiday season. They discovered Prep and Landing last holiday season, so it was on our TV quite often. I do whenever Halloween or Christmas comes around, I always enjoy finding the Disney specials and episodes of things that we can all kind of sit down and watch together, and, so they found Prep and Landing, and, I don't know that I actually sat down and watched one, but it was always in the background while I was doing something else for a
Well, when we
while.
get closer to the holidays, Rachel, I'll need to chat with your kiddos because I have a couple very cool pieces of prep and landing merch that your kids may appreciate. So,
Oh,
do you
nice.
know when they're up there on the roof and they're holding those, they're like glow sticks, but instead of just looking like a
Yeah.
regular glow wand, they look like little Christmas trees and they wave them
Yeah.
for Santa to come in and land, where they used to sell those. So, I have light up green prep and landing trees. And I also have the gingerbread device that they hold in front of presents, and you push the button on it and it scans and tells you if it's a good gift in it or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And it makes the same beeping noises as it does on the show. So
That's
those are
funny.
my prized things, like, no one's even allowed to play with them anymore. A dog did chew the tip of one at one point of one of the tree, like,
Oh,
Santa
no.
landing devices, but I hang on to them. They still light up and work and make noise, and they're a lot of fun. So, I was thrilled when we had the newer episode come out. Was that just last year that they put out the n I think it might have been just last year they came out with the new one. If not, it was the year before. It was recent enough
It
that
was
I
very I
feel
know it
like
was
they're
very
here gonna be here for a while. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So they've discovered Prep and Landing, but Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, they've run the show for a couple of years now, even before Jollywood Nights. So it's always fun, and I really like what they've done with the projections over the Chinese theater. I think that's just brilliant because when you think of the Chinese theater, you do think of Hollywood and movies and everything, and to see those parts projected over Hollywood Studios at
Mhm.
night is always fun. Of course, there's attractions open too. There's several attractions that you'll be able to ride with a minimum wait time. But I think one of the big things, one of the big pulls for Jollywood Nights, other than it's more adult oriented, is if you want to meet a character, this is the place to go. And there are a lot of really obscure characters that you can find here. Phineas Ferb will be there. You're going to have Max Goof as Powerline there this year. Here's a throwback from childhood. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers will be there. So,
Chip and
um,
Dale will be there. That's exciting.
yeah. And then you also have Stitch dressed as Santa, Baloo, and King Louie. So I'm just, Partysaurus Rex, I guess he has to do something after these H2O glow parties, so he will be there too.
He'll be there too. Well, I do think Toy Story Land gets a bit of a holiday overlay. I think they get a cup,
Yeah.
that area of the park will be decorated for the holidays. So Rex can fit in back there pretty well, I guess.
That's true. Yes, that's true. And you do also have several Pixar sorry, you do have Buzz and Woody. They will be
Mhm.
dressed in holiday attire. Even during the day, you'll see a Buzz Lightyear costume with a Santa hat on, and that's a pretty cute costume that he has for Christmas season. But there are several characters. Scrooge McDuck will be there. So I really think if you want to take some pictures with characters from your childhood, this is a great party to go to.
I feel again we're geared towards that Nightmare Before Christmas gang of people that
Yeah.
around our age who have been
Yeah.
really into that, and this just kind of follows along that track.
Yeah.
So.
Now
And
we
of
don't
course,
have
now
any.
you had mentioned at Brown Derby that was adult only. This party is not adult only.
Yeah.
And I know Rachel just mentioned several character experiences, which obviously are excellent for kids, and the rides are still open as always. But this is definitely a more adult geared themed
Yes.
party.
Absolutely, it sure is, and it's grown in popularity over the years. I know the first year, especially the first couple of parties that they had, it received some negative feedback, and kudos to Disney. They took that negative feedback and they really made it into a party that's much more desirable. Last year, we did an entire episode of all the food booths that you could find there, and
Uh-huh.
there were a lot. Now, as of the recording of this episode, we don't have any food information for either party other than we can expect that it's coming. So I'm
Right.
looking forward to seeing the menus, even though I won't be at either party this year, but I do always like to browse and see what they have coming.
I'm sure we'll be chatting about that at some point in the
Yeah.
future. I don't know if we'll do it to the extent that we did last year, but we'll see what we have time for,
Yeah.
and the food for that party. I can remember all the cranberry last year. Everything had cranberry at
Cranberry
Jollywood
and
Nights, right?
gingerbread. Remember those gingerbread bites? We were all over the place. If you tried those, please let us know how they were. I don't think we talked to anybody that had eaten those, but they they were at
Mhm.
several locations. Okay,
Does
so
that
I
wrap
think
everything up for the studios, I
I
think? Time
think
to head to
so.
Epcot, maybe?
Yeah, let's head over to Epcot. So, why don't you tell us what's happening over at Epcot?
So Epcot does not have a separately ticketed party, but they do have special things going on for the holidays. We have talked many times here before about the holidays at Epcot and how much we love them. So this year they'll be celebrating the Festival of the Holidays from November 27th to December 30th. Again, this is not a separately ticketed event, so they do run that straight through the week there between Christmas and New Year's up to New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve will not be Festival of the Holidays night because that's a special New Year's Eve night in the park there at Epcot. But these are the same dates for the Candlelight Processional, which is one of the main attractions of the Festival of the Holidays at Epcot there. If you're not familiar with the Candlelight Processional, it is a beautiful telling of the story of Christmas. Sung with incredible music by a choir made up of cast members and local choir members, a full orchestra, and it's just absolutely incredible. There will be a celebrity narrator each night. Usually they do 2 or 3 nights, each celebrity that narrates. We do not have our official list for that yet. I know it usually comes mid fall the last few years. I feel like we've seen that finalized list of who all will be there. But regardless of who the narrator is, it is an amazing experience. It is in the American Gardens Theater in the American Adventure area at Epcot, and there is no charge to see the show. There are ways to guarantee yourself a seat or a better seat. You can book a candlelight processional dining reservation that'll
Mhm.
guarantee you access to a line that gets you in before the standby line, or you could just get there early and wait in the standby line. There will be 3 shows per night, so that's handy as well to help break down the crowds and let everybody see. But again, there's no ticket purchase required for the candlelight processional itself. The other big thing at the Festival of the Holidays are all of the food booths. That's what it's all about, right? Is all
Yes.
of the
Yeah,
food
yeah.
around Epcot. So you'll find food all around World Showcase and over in the what are we calling that now? Not It's not Future World, but it is World Celebration. I guess.
Celebration, yes, over at
Yeah.
World Celebration, that area
All
by
throughout
the
the park,
neighborhood.
basically.
Yes, yeah.
All throughout the park will have food there at Epcot. So.
Another big thing is the storytellers. You can find these located in the pavilions around World Showcase where you can hear
Mhm.
some holiday stories from all of these different cultures. And that's a really special thing to go and find as well. And I love that with Epcot, this is not a separately ticketed event. It really is. If you want to get into the holiday spirit, I really think Epcot is probably the park to go to because you don't have to worry about the separately ticketed event. Now, I love Magic Kingdom and all the decorations there, but as far as just
Mhm.
being able to see so many different things that just are going on throughout the day, I really love Epcot. One thing that I think was last year the first year of the gingerbread spaceship Earth display.
In
I can't
Communicore Hall,
remember.
gosh,
Yes.
I don't know if it was the first or the second, but I feel like last year was more impressive than what we had previously seen in there, so I can't remember what they may have done the year before. I think it was open the year
Okay.
before, but don't remember. I
Okay.
think they've done it there a couple years now.
Yeah. Well, it's back. So, it will be there
Very good.
too.
And that's cute. So that's a large spaceship Earth inside Communicore Hall. It's made of gingerbread and it lights up. And I believe, if I remember correctly, they had a countdown last year. It went every certain number of minutes. So you would have an idea of how
Yes.
long you had to wait once you got in there. It was not very long. It happened pretty regularly. And they did have a festival booth inside that same building also. So if you went in there for a snack or treat and wanted to see the little, it's just a short little show with the light
Yeah.
up gingerbread. I am hoping that's back this year. Did they say for sure it's coming back?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
it will be back
Okay.
this year, and it lights up every 15 minutes, it says. So it's presented by Citizen, which is a company that makes watches. So that does make sense with the countdown going on. But
Mhm.
yeah, every 15 minutes it will feature a song and lights with holiday flair. Two other
Okay.
things that are going on. If you so besides the candlelight processional, which will have singing, there are also two other musical events. Joyful, a celebration of the season,
Mhm.
which celebrates Christmas and Kwanzaa with some high energy performances blending gospel, jazz, R&B, holiday traditional music. And then Voices of Liberty will be dressed up as Dickens carolers during this time of year too, and that's also a real treat if you are able to go and see them perform at this time of the year.
They do have such elaborate costuming when they're
Yeah.
dressed as the Dickens characters. And I've said it here before, the Voices of Liberty, I think, are I know they're one of my favorite things about Epcot, and there's just not enough out there about them. I feel like more people should know they're there and go in and see them. You can find the times for their shows listed in the app. They're very easy to find in there if you look under Voices of Liberty. And I'm sure the Joyful Celebration also, those times will be listed in the app also. I think those are a little bit more attended because they're outside, right? Aren't they just outside of Communicore Hall? Is that where they are now? I'm picturing where they used to be on the fountain that no longer exists. I think now they have them out there where they do shows right in the center of the World Celebration area, pretty easy to find. But the Voices of
Hmm.
Liberty are inside a building. So you don't just happen upon them quite as easily as you
Yeah.
do some of the other performances and some of the, I don't want to say Santas, but the way, like when you can go find
The
the barn
storytellers and
Santa and
everything.
the storytellers. That's the word I'm
Yeah.
looking. I could not come up with the word story today. So that is how my day's going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't see any information about where Joyful will be held. Now, since that whole area has kind of been redone where the Fountain Nations used to be, I don't know where they house them because there used to be a stage or they could put up a stage over in that area, but it does not state where they will be located. But of course, a lot of this information is new and still coming out. So things will change and more will be announced. These are all kind of holiday teasers for us, but we definitely wanted to get a Christmas in July episode in this
Mhm.
year. And now, if you are like me and you spend some of your free time perusing wait times at Walt Disney World between this
I
time of the
don't.
year, you
I don't think I do
I
that,
do.
Rachel.
I do. I
But
sure
tell
do.
me about it, I guess.
Well, one thing that you may notice is that once the sun goes down, the line for living with the land goes up dramatically. And that is because of glimmering
Absolutely.
greenhouses, which is one of my absolute favorite holiday overlays at Walt Disney World. And this is where living with the land is transformed into really a holiday spectacular with twinkling lights, seasonal decor, some large ornaments throughout. And I love it. Absolutely love it, and it takes place during the day too. It's just something it's super magical at night to see everything lit up, and feels like you're taking a little boat ride through, a festive holiday display. Like, if you go to there's one particular neighborhood that everybody goes all out for with Christmas lights. This is glimmering greenhouses at Walt Disney
That's
World.
what it is at Epcot, yes. So, and like
Yes.
Rachel said, that is open all day, but of course, when it's dark out, it's a little bit more impressive when you're going through the greenhouse. And of course, the sun is not shining in there because it is dark. And the lights just glimmer a little bit more there at that point of the day. So it's kind of crazy how popular that pavilion gets that
Yes.
late in the day because it is not normally like that. It's usually quite opposite with it being busier earlier in the day and then World Showcase being a little bit busier at night
Yeah.
than what the land pavilion would be, certainly. And I think, do sunshine seasons ever extend the hours during that time? Do you know? Have you experienced that? I feel like I've been disappointed there before thinking I was going to eat at sunshine seasons, but they close earlier. So while you can still ride Living with the Land, you may not be able to eat in there or get some food indoors there in that pavilion.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
I don't
just something to keep
know.
in mind.
Yeah.
Check the hours for it if that's something you're planning around, if you think you'll have dinner there in the evening and then get on the ride. Sunshine Seasons usually closes a little earlier than some other quick service in that park.
Yes, absolutely. And also speaking of lights, the lights on Spaceship Earth will take over
Mhm.
more holiday tones during this time of the year. This is definitely one of my favorite changes that Walt Disney World has made over the years, and one that I hope they keep because the lights on Spaceship Earth at night are spectacular. And
Mhm.
they'll play Christmas music nearby. You have to be close to it in order to hear it, but you'll be able to hear music coordinated with a light show also. Then we also have Olaf's holiday tradition scavenger hunt, where you can join Olaf on a festive adventure throughout World Showcase to find Olaf as he discovers holiday traditions around the globe. And they have not announced where these items will be able for purchase, but that those are usually able to purchase around World Showcase as you're entering into the lagoon area there. And then there's a Scentsy's festive fragrances, a sensory wonderland. So we have talked about the Smellephants before at Magic Kingdom, but I
Mhm.
think holiday scents are much more appealing to me. What about you, Missy?
Yeah, when you don't combine the smell factor with elephants, I think you're destined to have it be a little bit more appealing to the masses. But I think this was there last year. I remember walking through that specific area of the park. I can picture where it was. I don't remember what any of the specific scents were, but I remember walking up to the little like podium box display type things that they've had, and they had some kind of little holiday looking thing in it along with the scent. So it's cute, just a little somewhere different, maybe to let the kids get out of his stroller and run around to burn off some steam because it's kind of it's not like an enclosed area. You can't just let them run away, but it's a little off the beaten path and there's not
Yeah.
usually too much traffic there. So it's a spot. It's a place, a thing you can do there.
It
If
is a
you
thing you
wanted to
can do
go
there,
if
yes,
you
yeah.
wanted to sniff food that isn't food, if you want to sniff fake food, if you want
Right.
to eat real food, then you need to head over to the festival food booths.
Okay, that's all that I have for Epcot. Do you have anything else
Epcot, nope.
going
That was
on?
it. That was last on my Epcot list too, which just leaves us with Animal Kingdom. And I
Okay,
know the
so
Merry Menagerie is returning this year. That's
mhm.
always a fun thing. What do they call those? The polar puppets? Is that what they
Polar
call them?
puppets. Yes, so they will have penguins, reindeer, foxes, polar bears, all ready for you to take a photo opportunity with as you enter into the park. You kind of go along that split area where you can take the right path or the left path, and then as you're walking, heading over towards the Tree of Life, you will see the polar puppets there as part of the Merry Menagerie. They rotate what puppets are out throughout the day, so you will not typically see more than two different types of animals out at one time. But it is pretty special to go and see. My kids really love it. My children do to see the different animals that they have there, and cast members are very interactive with children during this time period.
Okay. And I believe the Tree of Life Awakenings, they'll have the holiday edition of that up. So of course that's a more of an evening thing too. It's a projection on the Tree of Life there. You can see that. The most ideal place is if you stand at the end of the pathway where you head into the park facing the tree. That is the ideal location to stand there and see the display. That happens 10 minutes. It starts at sunset. So it varies by day, but once the sun is set, that will start and it'll happen every 10 minutes until park closing. So that's a quick little thing you can plan to see maybe as you're departing the park. It's a nice kind of finale for your day there
Yeah.
at Animal Kingdom.
Yes, absolutely. And that's all that I have for Animal Kingdom now. Obviously characters will be in their holiday attire too, over at the
Right.
Adventures
Yep.
Outpost.
At Adventure Outpost there, Mickey and Minnie will be in some holiday festive but adventure wear. So Mickey, I think, has his traditional hat on, but he's got some holly and berries or something added to it. I don't know. It's cute. It's cute. It's cuter than our opinion over there on the studio. So I think that covers all of that. Of
Yeah.
course, we've got Disney Springs. We could hop over to Disney Springs and chat a bit about that next. We'll have what do they call their trail of Christmas trees? Christmas
Christmas
tree
tree stroll. So
stroll.
they used to have a designated trail spot over on the side closer to World of Disney as you're heading towards Rainforest Cafe. They would have an area there and you
Mhm.
could wander through the actual trail itself, and I kind of miss that. I understand why they spread everything out, but I liked being able to make sure that I saw every tree. But it is the Christmas tree stroll. So these trees are located all around Disney Springs. You can find a map with some stickers that you can coordinate on there, but they are inspired by Disney, Pixar, animation studios, and Star Wars favorites. Several films that you can find. I know, and there's usually a haunted mansion tree. I love the haunted mansion tree and finding the haunted
Mhm.
tree, but
They're
these are
very unique ones. They're not just trees decorated with typical ornaments. They all portray whatever the theme is they represent very well. I know they said there will be a Toy Story tree back
Mhm.
this year, so that's exciting for Toy Story fans in celebration of Toy Story 5 being out in theaters this year. And it even snows sometimes at Disney Springs. Doesn't it still
Yes.
snow?
It does. They do mention you can spot snowfall as you're taking a walk around the Christmas tree
Mhm.
stroll. I don't know where they typically have snowfall at Disney Springs.
It's the town center. And now I don't really know
Okay.
where town center is because Disney Springs is not my favorite place to go, so I don't frequent it. I know it pretty well, but what would be
Is
considered
that what they
town
consider when
center?
you first walk in? If you're taking the bus and you first walk in and there's a fountain there and they usually have a
I would
large
guess
tree
yes,
there.
because that
Yes.
is pretty central as far as Disney Springs goes also. So we'll go with that. I can
Yes.
picture it. I can't really describe it. Is it near where the Coke store is? The Coca-Cola store, to be more specific?
I think that's over closer to the movie theater, which is
Yeah.
one of the
Okay, I
other
won't pretend
lots.
to know. I don't
Yeah,
know. Town center,
this
find it.
isn't
I'm
too
sure it's
far.
on the map.
Yeah, Uniqlo. It's close to Uniqlo as you walk into that area. So closer to the Lime Garage, and I
One
knew
place
that
I do
because
know
yes,
One
yeah,
place I do know how to find is Jock Lindsay's Holiday Bar. The Hangar Bar turns into a holiday bar for the holidays with some pretty unique menu offerings there also. Again, not a place you can make reservations, so you'll need to have a little bit of time to be leisurely there. Go ahead, get on the walk up list, see if you can get in with your party there. But Jock Lindsay's is always a lot of fun.
yeah. And there will also be holiday treats throughout. Again, these just haven't been announced yet. Disney is releasing teasers as they go
Right, right.
along, but there will be some holiday treats at other restaurants too. And if you are heading to Walt Disney World this time of year, I do highly recommend the Christmas tree stroll at Disney Springs. At night, it does
Mhm.
get more and more crowded over there, especially locals will begin to come in and enjoy the shopping and restaurants. So I do recommend going during the day, especially if you're traveling with young children. It's a lot easier to navigate and manage.
And throughout each day, they often have live music at Disney Springs, which is enjoyable. And Santa will be making appearances there, greeting guests also through December 24th, will be the last day you can see Santa at Disney Springs. So if you're planning a trip to the Orlando area and you won't be visiting the parks, you can get a little bit of Disney Christmas in at Disney Springs at no cost. So it's a good option for some families.
Yes, absolutely. All right, now what about the resorts, Missy? So
So the
what
resorts are the most exciting part, I think,
Yeah,
of all of it.
okay.
And I don't know how controversial it may become this year because we don't know if we're going to have a new policy in effect for the resorts or not. But we're going to go with we're not. We're going to go
Yeah.
with everyone is welcome to visit at the Walt Disney World resort hotels throughout the day. And if something changes with that, we will certainly update you. So, Rachel, do you have a favorite Disney resort to visit at the holidays? And why is it Wilderness Lodge? Because that's the only correct.
I'd say, well, yes, Wilderness Lodge because it's so impressive. The lobby is so impressive. Everything is so
It's majestic,
well,
isn't it?
it
It's
really
grand.
is. I mean, and you think like you really talk about being transported to another location, and that tree is it fills up the lobby space, which is hard to do because it is a very tall lobby. But yes,
Yes.
I would absolutely hands down. Even if Grand Floridian still had the gingerbread house, it would be Wilderness Lodge.
Yes, absolutely. It should be really renamed the Grand Majestic Holiday Wilderness Lodge, I think, for Christmas time because I just love it there that much. It is my all-time favorite. And those fireplaces are there year round. That cozy lobby is there year round. I'm always impressed with Wilderness Lodge, but there's just something about it during the holidays. It gives you that country back at home feeling that I think almost every guest would be able to enjoy. And
Yeah.
There are several food options there. If you wanted to make a dining reservation, you have Whispering Canyon Cafe would be the most obvious one. You have Geyser Point, where you can't make a reservation ahead of time, but they do have a walk-up list. And I have learned if you are in the lobby, over on the side of the lobby where the springs are, do they call that? I guess they call it Copper Creek now. I swear it used to be called Silver
Yeah.
Spring. I think it's called Copper Creek now, which is why we have the Copper Creek Villas and so on. But down that front part of the lobby, you are close enough to actually join the wait list from there usually. So they have Roar and Fork, their quick service restaurant, and then also Artist Point, where you have a character experience there with some characters from Snow White. So lots to do at the lodge, even if you aren't there just for Christmas decorations. But certainly the lodge is my favorite. Let's chat through a couple others that kind of stick out. Now, I don't want to be putting the Grand Floridian down. The Grand Floridian will be absolutely stunning. Now that the
Mhm.
lobby is finished and the carpeting has been replaced and everything is refreshed, I am certain it's going to be stunning. I do expect to see some garland hanging all over the place. I want more. I want more decorations in there now that we don't have the gingerbread house. I don't
Yes.
really recall them having a whole lot hanging from the balconies. I think with the gingerbread house being the focal point, that was mostly what it was about. But I would love to see a little bit more in there. We have been told they will have other smaller gingerbread displays in there. That may end up being something super amazing and impressive to see. So
Yeah,
time will
because I
tell on
mean, some
that.
of the other resorts, the boardwalk has a gingerbread display. It's typically smaller, but it's still
Mhm.
impressive. It's, so very impressive what all they can do at these resorts. I wonder if they'll keep the colors, which that would be a big change to redecorate the Christmas tree and everything, but they've really gone from kind of muted pastels Victorian
Mhm.
era to very rich jewel tones that they've carried
I would
throughout
love to
the
see a
resort.
new tree there. I think
Yes.
that would be that could kind of turn everybody a little bit to a more positive side of things if we had, like you said, the jewel tones, the deeper tones that we see now in that lobby. If we could get an updated tree decorations, now that I'm thinking about it, some of these trees have been decorated exactly the same way for
For
like
a
as
long
long as I
time.
have been.
Yes.
So I think my first time that I really so I it was early 2000s. My honeymoon was the first time I went to Disney at Christmas time, but starting in 2009, it was 2009 when I went for like my first official Christmas specific trip just to see holiday things. And I'm pretty sure everything has been decorated basically the same since then, including our precious Wilderness Lodge. And I mean, doesn't really need updating. It's ideal,
No,
but
that one does not.
you bring up a good point, though, about how now the whole color scheme there in that Grand Floridian lobby has changed. So maybe we
Yeah.
will see something different with the tree. That would be exciting.
Yeah, and I also wonder, I'm just thinking out loud here, maybe the tree that they used to have is too large because now the way that they have the lobby arranged, you would
Mhm.
have to do quite a bit of rearranging because of that new bar area, which looks great. I think it looks great there. It does take up quite a bit of space, but they'd
But
have to put it in the back part of the lobby.
we did see different configurations there over the years, though, with the
Yeah,
gingerbread house being
yeah.
slightly positioned different. One year to be in a corner, then it was more centered on the end. I've seen it hop around to a couple different places. So, but I would imagine, oh, wow, Rachel, I'm a little worried now. We better have a tree because you've got those giant chandeliers. You
Yeah.
can't get in the way of those down on the end. So I'm a little excited and a little nervous to see what they come up with. But I mean, it's going to be gorgeous. It's got to
It
be
will be.
gorgeous. How
Yes.
could it not be?
Yeah.
Because you know what? The prize for the least impressive decorations is over there at the Polynesian, even though I love it. Although, honestly, the contemporary runs a close second because even though I think the contemporary boasts they have the tallest tree, but it's because it's outside. Inside's not super impressive there. So,
No, inside is not very decorated. Now they do have a gingerbread castle and you can purchase gingerbread there. That is impressive, but I really
but be
hope in
aware it's flat. It's
Yeah.
flat. This is not like some three-dimensional. It cannot be compared to the actual gingerbread house you could go
Yes.
inside that was over at the Grand Floridian or even the smaller gingerbread log cabin that they put over at Wilderness Lodge. It's just flat on a wall, basically.
It is.
That
It's still
castle.
nice to look at and you can still go and take your photo there.
Mhm.
But yeah, inside when you head into the lobby area where you check in, there's a smaller Christmas tree there just because the lobby is small, but I don't think up on the 4th level, I can't recall any big trees.
No, I think that it's the big tree outside. That's their
Yeah,
tree.
yeah,
It's the
so
tree outside.
Contemporary does
Yeah.
need to up their game. I would call them the most disappointing
Yeah.
just because
I
we should all be
apologize to my
there.
beloved Polynesian. They aren't the worst. And the thing about the Polynesian is they just don't have the space in their lobby
Mhm.
to be able to put a giant tree. They do have a beautiful tree, and it would be giant if it was in anyone's home, but it's not. It's in a deluxe resort lobby, so we kind of expect more.
Yeah.
But it is still tropical. It goes with the feel of the resort overall, but makes it Christmassy. So it is still a fantastic resort to visit there if you wanted to pop
Yes.
by the Polynesian. Definitely worth stopping in and having a little snack or something there. But yeah, the winters in that area, it's got to go to Wilderness Lodge in the Grand Floridian. Now, you also have the campground there, and they have a lot of guests that stay at the campground and put up light displays, which is amazing. You can book a horse and carriage ride to ride through and see that, or you can just take a ride over there on the boat and stroll around and walk a bit. But Fort Wilderness does have some impressive Christmas decorations also.
Yes,
Beyond
they do.
there, beyond the Magic Kingdom area, I'm sorry, did you have more to say about the fort
No,
or
no, I did not. So
okay.
let's head on past the Magic Kingdom area.
Okay, so to me, naturally, the next area to go to is Disney's Boardwalk area. We've mentioned
Mhm.
that a couple times here. So they do have a gingerbread display, usually inside the boardwalk. They have a train display, a train platform set up inside the lobby over at Disney's Yacht Club Resort, which is always fun to see. The
Yeah.
train actually operates and travels around on the track there, so you can see the village that's all set up and everything for that. And then you have a very impressive gingerbread carousel. It's a small moving carousel. It's not, I don't, so it's not small, but it's not
Yeah.
like big enough for you to sit on. Like you could
Right.
probably put a small child, a toddler, or, a very small
Please
child
don't. Please
could fit
don't.
on
Somebody's
it.
gonna listen
Don't
to
do
this and be
that. It
like,
is
"I'm gonna
not
take
made
that."
for you.
Please don't.
Just to give you the idea of the size on it, though, if you haven't seen it before, that's over at Disney's Beach Club Resort. And so a lot
And
to
that
see in that
changes theme
area.
every year. I think that's important to note. That changes theme every single year. So even if you saw it last year, go back and see it this year too because the theme has changed.
And I love that each of these gingerbread displays or chocolate displays that they have around also will have some information there on display nearby it about how long it took to make, or I don't know, how many eggs are in it, or how many pounds of
Yeah.
flour, like whatever. There's always informational things there. And in addition, most of these places also have like a little pop up snack shop too, where
Mhm.
you can get some holiday treats. And to me, having those there really makes them so welcoming. It's part of the reason I have a hard time believing Disney's going to start discouraging guests from visiting resorts because they have just added a lot of that in recent years to be able to go in and rather than having to go into Beach Club Marketplace and find something if you wanted a snack or drink, it's right there in the lobby. They'll have a booth set up where you can purchase holiday snacks and beverages. And I could remember them even having Beach Club holiday pins there before a couple years ago when I stayed there. So, keep an eye out for that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Of course, the boardwalk area is walking distance from the back gate of Epcot. So I cannot imagine they're going to start checking at the back gate of Epcot to see who belongs there and
Yes.
and who doesn't. Because that boardwalk is open to anybody to go visit. Everybody's welcome to go enjoy
Yeah. I
Disney
mean, there's all
Springs.
sorts of
So
different, restaurants and bars and stores and performers and everything like that. So that would really kind of hurt business in that area, I believe, if they were to cut that off. So we have not heard anything like that. We've just speculated if, how far are they taking these announcements that they've made.
right. I'm hoping we've seen the extent of that already. But
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
so I can just feel our friend Heidi shouting at us through the phone right now. We have not mentioned Animal Kingdom Lodge. I know
I
that's her
love
favorite tree. It's a
yes.
beautiful tree, not as easy of a place to get to simply because it's not as close. Obviously, you've got animals out on a savanna that need space, so Animal Kingdom Lodge is kind of off in its own reserve area. But you can get there using Disney buses from a theme park, and you can take a look at their gorgeous tree and their lobby and take advantage of seeing the animals from some of their
Mhm.
viewing areas also while you're there. So
Yes.
definitely worth a trip. If you have not seen it before, it's worth a trip to Animal Kingdom Lodge. And while I'm
Yeah.
on this track of thinking, I will say if your trip is in November, be aware that you are not guaranteed to have a tree up in the lobby of any resort on any given day. They will start decorating right after Halloween, but they seem to do this in stages. It's, resort by resort. You'll go to sleep one night and the tree's not in the lobby, and you'll wake up in the morning and magically some cast member elf helpers have appeared during the night and put up that tree, and it's fabulous. But I could remember, I think it was two years ago, we were down there and we were there the week prior to Thanksgiving, thinking that we would stay one night at Animal Kingdom Lodge to experience the ambiance there. And then we were moving to another resort. And I believe it was like the 20th, 21st, 22nd, something in that time frame of November. And the tree was not up yet. I had my camera rolling so that as we walked in the door, we could do the big reveal. And it was kind of hilarious because we walked in and there was no tree. So that was kind of a bummer. So certainly, if you really want to see all of these things, you should wait till December, wait till after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving to plan your visit down there to be sure to see all of the decorations all throughout property. But yeah, you're not guaranteed a date
Right.
for any of
Well,
them. Now, that being said, they did Animal Kingdom Lodge late last that one year. It could be one of the first ones next year. You just never
it could
know.
be.
Like they have their own way of working that out, dependent on what works for their schedule. It's not something that's
Mhm.
announced ahead of time.
No,
So,
it's not, and they usually have a will sometimes they'll announce, like, "Will be decorated by date," like, for everything, like a blanket,
mhm,
this is
right.
when it all will all be done. So 2 years ago my last 2 big family trips have been the week, before Thanksgiving the last 2 years in a row. So 2 years ago, I know that we met you were traveling with a large group, we met you over at Geyser Point, and the
Mhm,
Wilderness Lodge was decorated, the tree was up. Last year, we took a resort day, we took a break, Disney Springs, pool time, all that kinda stuff, and I went over to Wilderness Lodge with the family, and same week of the year, and the tree was not up yet. So I think it went up like 2 days later or something like that. But
mhm.
yeah, so you never know. So typically, I think they're pretty quick about getting the monorail loop up. Quote me on that, but I think those are usually done pretty early on in the list of things. But I think some of the other resorts, you just never know.
Mhm.
But the good news is, if you are staying at a Walt Disney World resort during the holiday season, December especially, your resort will be decorated in some form or fashion, which I think is
Yes.
fantastic. Yeah, you don't have to be staying at these deluxe resorts to see some great holiday decorations. The All Stars resorts are always decorated. We love the Christmas tree over at Art of Animation, the white tree with kind of the color put into the tree with the ornaments and decorations. I think that's a great play on just the style of the resort, but,
That
your
that
resort
is
will be
actually
decorated.
one of my favorite trees there. Like, if I was gonna do a top 3, that would probably be tree number well, it could be even 2 or 3
Oh, wow.
probably. Yeah,
Wow.
I just love how it's different, because it is the glowing white tree with all of the very colorful decorations of it over there at Art of Animation, and I think it makes it stand out, and it's something very different. And I was actually going to say, after you finish in the boardwalk area, hop on the Skyliner. Don't forget, you can get to 4 other resorts using Disney Skyliner. As Rachel had mentioned, one of those is Art of Animation, and Pop Century is right next door, walking distance from the Skyliner there. And they will have a tree on display in the lobby. You also have Caribbean Beach, which is another nice Caribbean vibe, a tropical vibe, kind of like you'll have over at the Polynesian with their decorations in their custom house. Well, no, it's not the custom house. What do they call it now? I'm not coming up with the word. They used to have the
I don't
custom
remember what
house
they call
out
it.
separate, but and then that's right next door to Riviera, which is also beautifully decorated for the
Mhm.
holidays. They don't have a giant impressive tree or anything there, but they do have some delicious snacks and drinks at their cafe there that's right off of the lobby. So if you're
Yeah.
looking to fill a day with something outside of the parks or something to do on the day of a Christmas party, when you want something to do other than being in a park because you're trying to avoid paying for a separate ticket that day, visiting the resorts on the Skyliner is a great option, I think. We cannot forget
Yeah.
the other moderate and value resorts, though, that we haven't mentioned yet, and a couple deluxe villa resorts. So, in addition to Caribbean Beach, you also have Coronado Springs, Port Orleans Riverside, and Port Orleans French Quarter, which will all be decorated for the holidays with trees and wreaths and garlands in their lobbies, as well as All Star Sports, music, and movies will all have trees in their lobby areas also. And they have wreaths and garland. They have all of the things,
Yeah, they
obviously.
do.
And
Yes.
and so you're going to feel festive no matter what hotel you stay at. We hadn't
Yeah.
talked about Saratoga Springs and Old Key West yet. They have beautiful decorations as well. Gosh, should I hit everywhere? Did I forget anything?
I'm trying to think. I mean, this is only
Coronado. Did
one
I
of
say
it.
Coronado? I think I
I don't
might have
remember if
said
you said Coronado, but Coronado will
mm.
be decorated, and
Grand
I have
Destino
not seen the
Tower will have
decorations
decorations.
since the tower is open, but I'm assuming that the majority will be there at the tower and over where they have their quick service location too.
Oh,
I love Coronado Springs Resort. I love the tower. The tower is gorgeous. If you have not been inside of it, it's absolutely beautiful. But keep in mind, the larger trees are located where you do have these big, impressive lobbies. Most of the lobbies at Walt
uh-huh.
Disney World are not going to be 5, 6, 7 floors tall. They will be the standard size. But Disney does not Christmas decorations. I haven't been to any resort and thought, really, that was it, except for maybe the contemporary, but that's another story. So
Yeah, but the Contemporary has a flat castle, Rachel, so it's okay.
it's true. Yes.
And tasty snacks. It's nice, and I'm
Yes.
sure a ton of work goes into that. If you told me to build that castle, I mean, there's no way, no how I could do that. I know that, but
Right.
it's just, they say castle, and I think people imagine like a three-dimensional castles you're going to see, and it's not that. So just have your expectations in line there. So
Yeah.
I think we've covered most of what there is to cover about the resorts at this point. We don't really have any new information yet this year, other than the gingerbread house is not coming back, and that we will have smaller displays there at the Grand Floridian. But I would assume pretty much everything else will be announced as time goes on, and we will certainly chat about it here as things get closer and as the displays pop up late fall and into Thanksgiving time in December. All right, there's one more thing that we haven't talked about yet. It may not be your thing, Rachel. Maybe it is. It probably should be. Maybe it should be all of our things. Our listeners can let us know what they think. There is going to be a brand new Disney World Hallmark movie coming to Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas this year that was actually recorded at Walt Disney World Resort last Christmas holiday. So I believe they were recording in December and even some early January. People started spotting the cast, like actresses like Lacey Chabert, in the park. So it was rumored to be happening. They have confirmed it is happening. I have just their little press release announcement here. It is called Holiday Ever After, a Disney World Wish Come True. I guess that's a name that covers it all.
So basically, my time at Disney at Christmas. So
Yes, basically. So they say it's a romantic, of course, Hallmark movie set at Walt Disney World Resort during the holiday season, where our star of the show, Lindsay, is the character's name, played by Lacey Chabert, and her extended family head to Disney World for a magical Christmas together. But then there's going to be a little bit of drama because there's somebody that she had a disastrous first date with, and lo and behold, his room is right by hers, or she sees him on the trip, or somehow their worlds collide. And
yes.
I don't know if they're going to fall in love, Rachel, but I will say
I'm
it's
gonna guess.
possible.
And I'm gonna say it's very possible. And yeah, so they keep colliding in. And I did watch the trailer. The trailer was released pretty recently, and I did watch the trailer
Mhm,
for it. I believe filming did start around early December last year, because I think it was right after
mhm.
my trip that I started seeing things about this, about, oh, they were filming in the parks, because whenever they're filming in the parks, posts start to come up. What are they filming? What are they filming? And so
Right.
and then people were starting saying there's Hallmark movie stars here, and that was a huge thing. It also has another person that's in it was actually a Disney Child star. So Carly Carlson Romano, I don't remember if that's her full name,
Mhm.
but yeah, so she's also in it too. I think she plays a family member of Lacey Chabert. So, but the trailer was cute. Hallmark movies aren't necessarily my thing, but will I watch a Hallmark movie taking place at Christmas at Walt Disney World?
Heck yeah, you will,
Yeah,
Rachel.
yeah, absolutely.
So I could remember seeing some photos online last year when they were recording, and some guests around would see them. They were seen recording at the Polynesian, at the entryway of the Polynesian, and also in the lobby of Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I'm curious how they bring this all together. I am going to not be too critical of it. One thing that really gets me is when they film Disney movies and they do things that just don't make sense. Like if you know the parks and the layout of things and they go from point A to point B in a way that doesn't make sense, sometimes that annoys me a little bit because it
Mhm.
gives a false impression of things to people. But hey, that's what happens on TV anyway. So I guess we'll just go with that. I would love to see why they're at Animal Kingdom Lodge and why they're at the entrance of the Polynesian. I will definitely be tuning in. My mom loves Hallmark movies. She probably has one on TV right now for their Christmas in July that they're doing, Hallmark Christmas movies this time of year. I was there a couple weeks ago when they were on. I'm like, Mom, it's June. What is happening? Like, this is the longest Christmas in July. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Whatever. But you know what? The silly things about Hallmark movies are that they always have some triumph that you have to overcome and they always end happy. And honestly, the world needs more of that right now. I'm kind of sick
Yes.
of the nonsense that we see on a lot of these streaming platforms with offensive and inappropriate language and innuendo when it's not needed, and just things that I think has become so streamlined now that streaming is such a normal thing for everybody, and things aren't as regulated, and there seems to really be no limit to it all, and kids are seeing and hearing things at much younger ages than they ever did when we were kids, and we saw plenty. Back then it used to be you had to hear it on the school bus, so like one bad apple can tarnish everybody's
Yeah. Mhm.
vocabulary. But it sounds like a whimsical movie to me, so I will certainly
Yes.
be tuning in to see it, and I'll enjoy seeing all of the Disney World locations that I'm able to recognize, and I will be cheering for true love if that's what we're wishing here for. I don't know. It says she makes a wish in the fountain at the castle in Cinderella Fountain. So
Who
I'm
knows?
assuming
Maybe
she's
it's
wishing
his
for love,
brother or
but
something. Maybe his brother's on the trip and that's who she ends up falling in love with.
could be. You
That
never know.
has
I mean,
been
that kind of thing happens. It could be.
that has been a holiday movie ruse before. So yes, that absolutely has.
So I think that'll pretty much wrap up all of our holiday activities here for Christmas in July. Everything we know about at this point, right? So we can get right into our listener question. And today's listener question is actually it's a follow up to the transportation at Disney Springs update that we've discussed here recently. And the question is, where are cast members checking for resort verification at the Disney Springs buses? How is that working? Are they checking every single bus as people get on them, Rachel, or how is that working at this point?
So I think a bit of good news here, because I think this alleviates probably half the concerns that we saw, is that there is one checkpoint as you're entering into the Disney Springs bus location where cast members are scanning magic bands, key the world cards, or checking the apps to see if you do have a valid resort reservation. From that point, once you get through that scan location, then you go to the actual bus stops and you are welcome to enter into whatever bus stop location you prefer. So let's say you did have a resort day, a relaxing day, and you went over to Disney Springs, but you have a dining reservation at a resort restaurant later on that day and you are staying on property. All they are doing is checking to see that you are supposed to be in the bus location, and then you can go and enter into whatever bus queue that you want. So there is only one location where they are checking. From what I've seen, things seem to be going well. Things seem to be working very well. And I know this is pretty controversial, and I know a lot of guests were concerned about, well, what if I am staying on property and I just want to go and hop over to another resort because my family enjoys doing that? That does not seem to be a problem, and not what at all Walt Disney World is trying to stop. It seems to be that they are trying to stop people who are taking advantage of perks for resort guests who are not themselves resort guests, and not trying to take away any perks for resort guests themselves. So, one location, and then you scan it and you're welcome to enter any bus stop that you prefer from that point on.
Okay. Very good. That's a good question. We appreciate our listener questions. If you have a question for us, we would love to try to answer it for you the best we can. And you can send our questions in at various places for us. We're all over the place. We're on TikTok and Instagram at a Disney Life Pod. We have a Facebook group, and we have email, good old fashioned email.
Mhm.
What's our email? A Disney Life at storybookdestinations.com. and podcast at storybookdestinations.com. I don't know. So they actually just get forwarded to our regular email. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's when I
No,
log
we
into.
have
I just
them.
need
We
to put
do
a
have
second
them.
there.
Yeah.
We have them. So send us messages because we love you guys and we appreciate you being here. And now I have a tip of the week for you. And it's actually related to a recent update that we've had with the My Disney Experience app. You can now save a Disney gift card as a form of payment in the My Disney Experience app. So we've talked about it before here, given different tips for saving a photo or screenshot of a gift card or saving your gift card number in notes to be easily able to be copy and paste it in as a form of payment. But now they have taken it a step further for us and they have given us the option of saving a Disney gift card as a form of payment. So this will come in handy if you are using Disney gift cards to be able to pay towards your charges there for mobile order and other things when you're on Disney property. It helps a lot. And if you're not already aware, you can actually combine multiple Disney gift cards together up to a total of $1,000. So if you're somebody who's fortunate enough to receive these as a gift or buys them at some type of a store at a discounted price, you can go ahead and combine them together to one gift card up to $1,000 and then link that to your My Disney Experience account to use as payment when you're there. So just makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to pull out that actual card or the code to scam anymore if you're ordering something through the My Disney Experience app. And
Great tip.
I think that does it for today for Christmas in July. It has been fun. We appreciate you all being here. So go out there, make, and then come back here next week and hear all about my Disneyland vacation.